Hey, welcome. My name is Clint Grove. Thanks so much for joining. If you want to get started with Fabric, where do you even start? Well, let me show you. I'll try and make this brief as possible and explain to you just the very basics of Fabric. Have a look at this. All you do is go to portalazure.com and get yourself a Fabric capacity. So you just go to the home button and create a capacity under Fabric. So just type in Microsoft Fabric, click on the create button. But when you do, just change your capacity size down to F2 because you don't want to be paying $8,000 a month. No, we don't want to do that. So I'm going to demonstrate to you. I work for Microsoft at the moment, and this is the Contoso tenant. So it's just a sample tenant, and show you how this is done. So I signed up for Microsoft Fabric here. My capacity is probably an F8 at the moment. It's running, and you can see that it's running by the fact that we've got a pause button there. So if I click pause, it'll stop, and if I click resume, it'll carry on. Now, once that's all set up, you've got yourself a Fabric capacity, and of course you can have many capacities in many different regions. Maybe you'll have one for your development, maybe you'll have one for production, maybe, just don't worry about that just yet, but to get you going, just create yourself a Fabric capacity and then make your way to Microsoft Fabric. And the first time you're ever going to do that, it's going to ask you to sign up, and it's going to ask for your organizational account. You can't do this on a personal account, you have to do it on an organizational account. So you go into there, so you look for app.fabric.microsoft.com, click on it, and then when you do, it's going to, first of all, it won't show you this screen because I've obviously signed up already. It'll say, hey, what's your name? Give us your email address, your organizational email address, sign up for the thing. Do you want to do a trial? Just click yes, no problem. Okay, so click on yourself to trial. I've been doing this for over a year now, just demonstrating Fabric, and I've never had a problem with things not working just because I've got a trial on top here. But obviously for your business, for your environment, things are going to be different, right? So you might be a very small business, you might be a big business, and you might have an IT department already taking care of your licenses. Maybe you've got an account executive that's looking after you from Microsoft, whatever it may be. But this is just very basic. How do you get in started with Fabric? So first of all, let's just do that again. We're going to go Fabric capacity in Azure, and then we're going to sign up for Fabric. And then you can see that I'm signing with my same organizational account here, which is connected to my tenant Contoso. So it obviously knows that your email address is from a certain organization, and the tenant will be the same. So the homepage looks very similar to Power BI. If you come from the Power BI background, you will be very familiar with this. So this is the little switcher down the bottom left here. You can see that I've got Power BI switcher, and this is okay. So now I can go new report, and it's going to be like, oh, this is the old, very familiar thing of building Power BI reports, right? So if you come from Power BI background, you'll probably be doing Power BI desktop, publishing to the Power BI online service, and this would be the Power BI online service. And you've got workspaces, all very familiar. Now, workspaces, let's just be clear about what they are. A workspace is a place to collaborate with other users. So what you'll do is say, hey, I want to create a new workspace. In this case, I created one called YT Dev. Call it whatever you want, right? And then you can create all sorts of items within your workspace. It's sort of like a folder or a place to store all the different things for that particular workspace. And the thing about a workspace is you can say, let me package up this workspace and send it off to other people as a package. And that's what you get the create app for, right? So then you can create the app, and then mostly done for Power BI reports and such, where you can say, hey, here's a few reports for our board members. Create an app and send it off to the board members, and they would access that through the app section here. So that's a good thing about a workspace. You don't have to package everything within your workspace into the app. You can just selectively take one or two reports and put them in the app and say, hey, here's our report for the board members. There you go. And it doesn't have to have everything from the workspace. Then the other thing is you've got workspace settings. You've got your license info here. Like this has got a little diamond on it, which means that it's on a Fabric capacity. So you can see that over here we've got our license info. You can see that it's connected to there. And of course, you've got multiple different things you can connect your workspace to and say what it's licensed for. In this case, we want it to be licensed to Fabric because we want to start ourselves a dev lake, a lake house, and we want a notebook, and we want to do some Spark stuff, PySpark, and all that fancy stuff. Now you can give people access to it, so you can add security groups, like maybe your IT department's got some Entra ID security groups, which have got a whole bunch of people in them, and you can add them to this workspace, and they can collaborate, and happy days, right? There you've got all your developers in one space. Or you can give, Joe Soap, whoever he is, maybe just wants to view whatever's in your workspace, and you can give him like viewer or reader access, right? So viewer is the very least amount of privilege just to see. It's like a reader access. And then you get contributor, and you get member, and you get admin. I think there's about 4 levels. So you can see that if I could drop that down, but I don't really have anyone in my Entra ID to show you at the moment. So just remember that you can manage access to your workspaces. And I've explained to you what creating the app is. It needs some content, of course. It needs some Power BI reports to do that. And then the workspace settings, you can also do Git integration, but that all comes in to do with pipeline deployments, but that's all a bit, you don't need to know about that just to get started. To get started, all you need to know is what are the main things. The main things are workspaces. The main things are managing access to for other people to get to your workspace and collaborating on that. Let's go into the one lake here. Is really just every lake house, every warehouse that you create is on your one lake, right? So there's one place. Think of it as one storage account where everything goes. It'll be whether you've got like 50 workspaces with 50 lake houses, they'll all be on your one lake. And your one lake is a good place to say, oh, I want to find something. But bear in mind that you can have the same name in 2 different workspaces for the same thing. Like I've got 2 dev lakes in 2 different, look at that, in this workspace and the other. So it can get confusing. But let's just remember to think of it that way. Now, it's great. So if you need any more help, please just reach out to me and I can help you get going. That's your really basic entry level 101, how to get started with Fabric, how to create a workspace and get going. I'll do some more on these at another stage. Thank you.